Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of the book of Revelation, and I'm up to chapter 2, verse 18. So this is the messages, the 7 messages to the 7 churches. This is the message to Thyatira. Kai to euangelo tes en Thyatira lois ecclesias grapson. And so it begins again with the standard sentence that we've had for the other messages to the various churches. And to the angel of the church at Thyatira, grapson write, Tali lege hopios tu theou, ho ekon tus ophthalmus autu hos phloga puros, kai hoi podes autu homoio calcolibano. The Son of God says these things, the one having his eyes hos phloga from flocks, and this picks up again the earlier section from chapter 1 where we have various descriptions, and this picks up one of these here. So the one having his eyes like a phloga, a flame, puros genitive of fire, kai hupodes autu homoioi calcolibano. So here we get homoios with the dative. So, and his feet like to, I have mentioned this word before, calcolibano. I mentioned this word before. The exact meaning of it is not known. Generally translated as bronze, because that's the first part of the word, but the libanos, well, as I mentioned, it normally is used for incense, but it doesn't make any sense here. Oidesu ta erga kai ten agapen kai ten pistin kai ten diakonian kai ten hupomonen su kai ta erga su ta eskata pleona ton proton. I know your works and the love and the faith and the diaconia. This is a word meaning service, and the service and your steadfastness. We've had that word before, hupomone, connected with meno, and from hupo plus that meno root of forbearing, of remaining underneath, so it generally means steadfastness. Kaita ergasu, and your works, understand, are, your last works, the eskata, understand, are pleona. This is the neuter plural agreeing with erga. It's comparative so it's pleon, meaning better. It's a comparative, so are better than your first works, are more or better than your first works. Ala echo katasu hoti aphes ten gunaika Jezebel. But I have this, and we've had this expression before, have to understand this. I have against you, or have this against you, that. Aphes, well, again, it's from aphiemi. It might mean perhaps to let loose or to release. It's from aphiemi, often can mean to forgive, but that's not the sense here. So it's, you have perhaps allowed or let loose the woman Jezebel. He legusa, the one saying hiautan herself, understand anai to be, prophetin. We get prophetes, first declension masculine for a prophet. This is prophetis, from the third declension feminine noun meaning a prophetess. So, and she teaches, or she is teaching, it's present tense, kai planar. Now this is from planao. We get the word planet from this. It means to wander, but it can have a causative mean, to cause to wander, which is what it's doing here, I think. So she is teaching and she's causing to wander my doulos. Well, my servants, I think is probably the best, perhaps devotees almost. So she causes them to wander. And we get 2 infinitives, pornusai, to engage in sexual immorality, perhaps prostitution, kai phagain, and to eat, idolothuta. We've had that word before, from eidolon, an idol, and the thuo root from sacrificing. So things which are sacrificed to idols. This is a neuter plural here. Kai edo ka aute chronon hina meten no ese, kai u thele meten no esai, and then ek, and go to a new page. And I have given to her, aorist from didomi, chronon, time, hina meten no ese, in order that she might repent, from meten not the o, a subjunctive, aorist subjunctive here, kai u thele, and she does not wish, meta no esai, aorist infinitive here, to repent, ek tes porneus autes. Well, from her prostitution, perhaps porneia, sexual immorality, prostitution. The word itself, and same with the verb, it's connected originally with the verb pernemi, an old verb, doesn't occur in biblical Greek, but it means to sell, pernemi, and so hence a porne was woman who sold herself, and hence a prostitute, and this is the abstract noun here. So either prostitution, some people render it sexual immorality. More generally, idu bello auten es klinein, and you'll see there's variant readings here with this word. Some people taking it the variation to mean to sickness, but literally as it stands, it says, "Behold, I cast her upon the bed," or into a bed. Now, probably not sexual reference here, but in a bed of sickness. So he says here, "I cast her into bed, and those committing adultery," from moikuo, this is a participle here, met autes, with her, as the lipsin megalan, into great Aeon me meta no e soci ecton ergon autes. Unless, so if they do not repent, aorist subjunctive, from the works of her, so from her works. Again, variant readings here. I'll leave you to look at the commentaries on this. I don't know whether we know anything about this Jezebel, but she certainly doesn't look as though she's doing the right thing here. Kai ta tekna autes apokteno en thanato. This is a very strong verse. And apokteno is a future from apokteno, with an iota in here. And this is an aorist, a future form. It would have originally been apokteneso. The sigma drops out, as it's wont to do, the Indo-European sigma, and then you get a contraction, and you get a vowel gradation from the epsilon iota going back to epsilon. So this is a future from apokteno. So I will kill her children. En thanato, this again is instrumental use of en, so with death. Very strong verse. Kai gnosontai passai hai ecclesiae hoti ego aimi hot eraunon nephrus kai cardias kai dosa humin hecasto catata erga humon. And all the ecclesiae, all the churches, gnosontai is the future from ginosko, aorist egno, and this is the future here, so gnosemite goes into the middle. So all the churches will know that I am hot eraunon, the one who searches. Erauno is a verb meaning to search. The one who searches nephrus. Now nephrus is literally the kidneys. Here it's seen as the seat of affections, but it's literally the kidneys. The ancients had funny ideas about internal anatomy. Kai cardias, and the hearts. Kaidoso humin hekasto katata erga hamen, and I will give to you, and then it goes from the plural to the singular, but this use of hekastos is very common in Greek, in both biblical and earlier Greek, where it may have a plural, but then you'll get hekastos in the singular, sort of a distributive idea. So I will give to you, to each one, according to your works. According to your works. Might just quickly say a quick word about this ginosko verb. In New Testament Greek, it's ginosko. But in classical Greek, it's gignosko. And the gamma here had disappeared over time, and so you do actually get ginosko also in the Ionic dialect. It does appear even as early as Herodotus, but the gamma disappears here. Originally, this is an example of what's known as a reduplicated present. So the git here is a reduplication of the initial letter gamma in the present tense. You're probably used to reduplications in the perfect, but you get a class of verbs that are these reduplicated presents. When you take that off, and if you take off the iterative sk, you're left with the root of the verb, which is gno, and of course that's cognate in English with our no, which may explain why we have the word no spelt with a K in front. Anyway, so it's an interesting verb. So the root of ginosko, originally gignosko, is gno. And it's the verb meaning to know, and it's come in, well, there's a cognate form in English. Humin de lego tois loipois, tois en thureterois, hosoi uk ekus in te didakein tautein. Hoitines uk egnosen ta bathia to satana, hos legusi. I might just stop it there. So, but to you, I say to the rest of you, in other words, to those in Thyatira, as many as do not hold this teaching, tain didakein tautein, hoitines, this is a hostis again, the very ones who did not know, perhaps were not acquainted with, tabathia to satana. This is a neuter plural from bathos, meaning depth, and so in the plural this is the depths, the deep things. It's a third declension neuter noun, so it's top bathos, and so you have the epsilon and then you get the alpha as the neuter plural ending here. So the very ones who did not know the depths of Satan. There's our Doric genitive again, as I've mentioned before in earlier recordings. Hos legusi, as they say. So the very ones who did not know that which they call the deep things of Satan. U bello ef humas allobaros. I am not casting, I am not throwing, literally, against you, allobaros, another, heavy thing, perhaps burden might be the right word here. I'm not going to impose another burden upon you. Impose might be good for bellow. Plain ho ekete cretesity aquis hu an hexo. Plain except, and we've got an imperative here, take first, kratesati, aorist imperative from kratio. We've seen that word used in earlier sections here, meaning to cling tightly to hold on to. And then we've got the relative comes before. This often happens in Greek, to hold on to that which you have. Aquis who, and we don't understand chrono or something here, so aquis takes a genitive. So until the time which, or perhaps we would say when, so until the time when, and then with an, so it's whenever, Haixo is from heiko with a kappa. Heiko is a verb which means I have come. It's perfect in sense in English, but it's present in form in Greek. And this is an aorist subjunctive here, so the kappa combines with the sigma in the aorist subjunctive to form haixo. So just to do that little bit again, so I do not cast against you any other burden except that you hold on to that which you have until I might come. Kai hot nikon, kai hoteron, acri telus ta ergamu. Doso auto exousian epiton ethnon, kai poimane, autus en rabdo sidara, hos ta skue ta keramika, sun tributai. Quite a long sentence. Hos cargo ele fa para tu patros mu, kaidoso auto ton astera ton pro enon. So, and the one conquering, and with this again, these messages have generally ended with this kind of structure. So the one conquering and the one holding, or keeping, I think, terio, these are participles here, keeping, ta ergamu mu, my works, acri again, acri telus, until the end. This is a genitive from telos, third declension, neuter noun. So it's tel eos, and that contracts to telus. So this is a genitive. Acri or acris, both forms occur. The sigma here has been put in square brackets. It's not in some manuscripts, but it's the same thing. It's the same word. So in the one conquering and keeping my works until the end, doso auto, I will give to him exousian, authority, epitone ethnon, literally over the nations. This is a third declension noun. It's ethnos, third declension. This is just the genitive form here. It's ethneon, and hence you get a contraction. So ethnos means a nation, generally used in the plural over the nations, and the word often has the sense of Gentiles, which it may or may not have here. Kai poimene autus, and he will shepherd them. Now this again is a future. It's from poimino, and we get a contracted future here. So he will shepherd them, instrumental use of en, so with his iron rhabdos, staff. Rhabdos is one of these second declension feminine nouns, and hence we get a feminine ending on the adjective sideros, meaning iron. So he will shepherd them with his iron staff, and you'll notice that the editor has put these slightly indented here, but not in bold. But these are based on, or pretty close quotations from some verses in the Psalms of Solomon, which is why the editor has put them in this form here. Hos ta skue, so this is something like hos for just as. So just as, ta skue ta keramika, these are, we get our word ceramic from this. In fact, that's how I'll translate it, I think. Skuos is a vague word. In the plural, it generally means vessels of any sort, so it's a fairly general collective noun. Skuos is a third declension neuter noun, so you get skua, and that contracts here to give you skua. So like the ceramic vessel, so as ceramic vessels, probably as here, so as ceramic vessels, neuter plural singular verb, sun tributai, are smashed. Sun tribo is, tribo is to rub. It's literally rubbed together, but it has the sense of smashing one thing upon another, so just smashed. And we have neuter plural singular verb here. And it continues on. So, since cargo, for kai ego, since I have now this Alepha is the perfect from lambano, believe it or not. This is a very irregular form, which I'm not sure I can easily explain, but it's a perfect from lambano. So it's as I also have received from my Father, I will give to him. I also will give to him the ton astera, the star, ton proinon. This is the morning star, the early star. Hence the morning star, generally reference to the star known as Venus. Again, I'll leave the commentators to expound this a bit more for you. So just to put all that long sentence together, so in the one conquering and keeping my works up until the end, I will give to him authority over the Gentiles, and he will shepherd them with his iron staff. And as the ceramic vessels are broken, and as also I received from my Father, I will also give to him the star, the morning star. And then we have the same last verse at the end of each of these messages. Ho ekon us accusato tito pneuma lege tais ecclesiais. The one having an ear, let him hear what thing the Spirit lege says to the churches. And that is the end of chapter 2.